Commander Lisa Hayes stood at the bridge of the USN Stalwart, watching the endless sea of stars through the main viewport. The experimental warship had been her home for the past 3 years, patrolling the outer edges of human space. She took pride in commanding humanity's most advanced vessel, even if most of its capabilities remained classified. "Commander, we're picking up unusual energy signatures," reported Lieutenant Steve Miller from his sensor station. His fingers danced across the holographic display as he analyzed the incoming data. "They don't match any known human patterns." Lisa straightened her uniform and walked to his station. "Show me." The display lit up with multiple contacts, appearing just beyond Saturn's orbit. Their energy signatures pulsed in patterns that defied human engineering principles. The objects were massive, each easily 3 times the size of the Stalwart. 7 vessels, Steve continued, arranged in a formation we've never seen before. They're maintaining position just outside our standard patrol route. Lisa's mind raced through her training scenarios, but nothing quite matched this situation. "Alert status yellow," she ordered. "Wake up the night shift crew, but let's not show any aggressive moves yet." The bridge came alive with activity as crew members rushed to their stations. Red warning lights flashed silently along the corridors as the ship's combat systems went into standby mode. "Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission," announced Communications Officer Amy Russell. It's definitely not human." Lisa nodded. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made everyone on the bridge catch their breath. The alien was humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin had a bluish tint, and multiple sets of eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. When it spoke, its words were translated by the ship's AI in real time. "Greetings, primitive vessel. This is High Counselor Zixtal of the Galactic Council. Your species has been observed expanding beyond its natural boundaries. We are here to discuss the terms of your integration into the greater galactic community." Lisa kept her voice steady, years of command training kicking in. "This is Commander Lisa Hayes of the United Space Navy vessel Stalwart. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations." The alien's expression shifted in a way Lisa couldn't quite read. "Your welcome is noted but unnecessary. The Council has determined that humanity requires guidance and oversight. Your species' rapid technological advancement poses a potential threat to galactic stability. You will submit to Council authority and accept our supervision of your further development." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. Lisa's jaw tightened. "With respect, Counselor, humanity is an independent species. We're happy to establish diplomatic relations as equals, but we won't submit to external control." "You misunderstand, Commander. This is not a negotiation." Zixtal's tone grew colder. "Your species is young and dangerous. You've developed technologies that took other races millennia to achieve. The Council will not allow such unchecked growth to continue. Submit, or we will be forced to demonstrate our superiority." Lisa's hand moved slowly to the emergency protocol button under her command console. "Counselor, I urge you to reconsider this approach. Humanity wants peace, but we will defend ourselves if threatened." "Your defiance is noted, Commander, and most unwise." The transmission cut off abruptly. "Multiple weapons signatures," Steve shouted. "They're powering up their main guns." Lisa hit the emergency button. "Battle stations. All hands to combat positions. Activate the Prometheus protocol." The ship's lights dimmed momentarily as its most secret weapon system came online. Deep within the Stalwart's computer core, an artificial intelligence unlike anything the Council had ever encountered awakened. "Prometheus protocol active," announced a calm, gender-neutral voice throughout the ship. "Combat optimization engaged. Detecting 7 hostile vessels with unknown weapons configurations." The alien ships moved with incredible speed, spreading out to surround the Stalwart. Their first volley of energy weapons lit up space like artificial lightning, but the human ship was already moving. "Evasive pattern Delta 7, Lisa commanded. "Show them what we can do." The stalwart moved in ways that should have been impossible for a ship its size. The Prometheus protocol calculated trajectories and possibilities faster than any human or alien mind could process, combining human intuition with machine precision. Multiple incoming projectiles, reported Steve. Some kind of plasma-based weapons. Countermeasures deployed, the Prometheus protocol announced. The space around the stalwart flickered as defensive systems engaged, dispersing the plasma bolts harmlessly into space. Lisa watched as the alien ships adjusted their formation, clearly surprised by the stalwart's capabilities. Target their lead vessel. Let's show them why humanity isn't to be underestimated. The stalwart's main gun, a marvel of human engineering, charged with a distinctive hum. The Prometheus protocol calculated the perfect firing solution, accounting for variables that would have taken a human crew hours to process. Target locked, the AI announced. Firing solution optimized. Fire. The shot that left the stalwart's main gun wasn't the crude energy weapons the Council ships used. It was a concentrated burst of exotic particles, accelerated to near-light speed. The lead alien ship's shields, designed to stop energy weapons, might as well have been tissue paper. The vessel split in two, its reactor going critical moments later in a brilliant explosion. The remaining Council ships broke formation, their coordinated attack dissolving into chaos. By the void came a panicked transmission from one of the alien ships. They have weapons we've never seen, and their ship moves like it's alive. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. This is Commander Hayes to all Council vessels. As you can see, humanity is not defenseless. Stand down, and we can discuss this like civilized beings. Instead of responding, the alien ships regrouped and launched another attack. This time, they fired some kind of missiles that split into smaller projectiles. Analyzing weapon patterns, the Prometheus protocol announced. Countermeasures adjusted, deploying point defense grid. The space around the stalwart lit up as its defensive systems tracked and destroyed each incoming projectile. Not a single one got through. Their weapons are primitive by our standards, the AI observed. They rely on brute force rather than precision. Lisa watched as the alien ships tried increasingly desperate tactics, each one countered before it could pose a real threat. The Prometheus protocol predicted their moves before they made them, turning what should have been an overwhelming force into a demonstration of human superiority. "Commander," Steve called out, "I'm detecting power fluctuations in their ships. I think they're preparing to retreat." "Let them go," Lisa ordered, "but send them a message first." She stood straight, facing the camera that would transmit her image to the Council ships. "This is Commander Hayes. You came here expecting to find primitives easy to subjugate. Instead, you found humanity. Remember this day, and remember this warning. We want peace, but we are ready for war. The choice is yours." The alien ships fled, jumping to faster-than-light travel as soon as they cleared Saturn's gravity well. On the stalwart's bridge, the crew finally allowed themselves to relax slightly. "Damage report," Lisa called out. "Minor scratches to the outer hull," reported Chief Engineer Paul Roberts over the intercom. "Nothing the repair systems can't handle. The Prometheus protocol kept us one step ahead of them the whole time." Lisa nodded, but her expression remained serious. She knew this was just the beginning. The Council wouldn't take this humiliation lightly. They would return with a larger force, better prepared for what they faced. But humanity would be ready. The stalwart was just one ship, a prototype. Even now, shipyards throughout the solar system were building more vessels equipped with the Prometheus protocol. The Council thought they were containing a threat, but they had only succeeded in awakening humanity's full potential. "Send a priority message to Fleet Command," Lisa ordered. "The galaxy needs to know. Humanity isn't just another species to be conquered. We're something they've never seen before." As the message was transmitted toward Earth, Lisa looked out at the stars again. The galaxy was about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating humans. The real war was just beginning. 3 days after the first contact incident, Dr. Alan Carter paced nervously in front of the United Earth Defense Council. The large meeting room was filled with military officials and government leaders, all eager to understand how a single human ship had defeated 7 alien vessels. The Prometheus Protocol, Alan began, adjusting his glasses, is more than just a combat eye. It's a true fusion of human intuition and machine intelligence. Admiral Mary Thompson leaned forward in her chair. Explain it in simple terms, Doctor. We need everyone here to understand what we're dealing with. Alan nodded and pulled up a holographic display. Think of it this way. Humans are creative and can think outside the box. Machines are fast and precise. The Prometheus Protocol combines both. It learns from its human crew, understanding not just what they do, but why they do it. The room fell silent as combat footage from the Stalwart played on the large screen. They watched as the ship performed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics itself. Commander Hayes' encounter proved something we had only theorized, Alan continued. The aliens rely too heavily on rigid combat patterns. Their AI systems are basic, focused on power and brute force. But the Prometheus Protocol thinks like a human while calculating like a computer. In another part of the solar system, the USN Stalwart continued its patrol. Commander Lisa Hayes studied the latest intelligence reports in her ready room when an alert sounded. Commander to the bridge, Steve Miller's voice came through the intercom. We're detecting multiple council ships entering the system. Lisa rushed to the bridge, her heart racing. This time, the sensor display showed not 7 ships, but 30. The council had returned with a full battle fleet. All hands to battle stations, she ordered. Wake up our friend. The Prometheus Protocol came online, its presence felt throughout the ship. Alert. Detecting 30 hostile vessels. Enemy force composition suggests this is a standard council suppression fleet. Standard for them, maybe, Lisa said with a slight smile. But they've never faced anything like us before. The council fleet's formation was perfect, too perfect. Their ships moved with mechanical precision, spreading out in a 3-dimensional pattern designed to trap the Stalwart. Incoming transmission, Amy Russell announced. The main screen showed a different alien this time. This one had green, scale-like skin and 4 arms. Human vessel, this is Fleet Commander Vexthor. Your previous action against our diplomatic force cannot be tolerated. Surrender now. Lisa stood tall. This is Commander Hayes. We defended ourselves against an unprovoked attack. If you force another confrontation, the result will be the same. You faced the full might of a council war fleet. Vexthor growled. Your primitive vessel cannot hope to. Detecting weapons lock from multiple vessels, the Prometheus Protocol interrupted. Recommend immediate evasive action. Show them what primitive looks like, Lisa ordered. Evasive pattern Echo 9. The Stalwart moved in ways that made the alien commander's eyes widen in shock. As 30 ships opened fire simultaneously, the human vessel danced between their shots like a leaf in the wind. Impossible, Vexthor shouted. No ship that size can move like that. The Prometheus Protocol's voice remained calm. Enemy attack pattern analyzed. Detecting recurring sequences in their formation. They lack tactical creativity. Lisa smiled. Then let's give them a lesson in human creativity. Target their command ship's propulsion systems. The Stalwart's main gun fired 3 precise shots, each one threaded through gaps in the alien formation that shouldn't have existed, striking the command ship's engines with surgical precision. How? Vexthor demanded as his ship's power failed. Our formation was perfect. There was no way through. Perfect is predictable, Lisa replied. Prometheus, show them why humans don't rely on perfect formations. The AI understood immediately. It had learned this lesson from studying human military history. Perfect formations worked against enemies who fought conventionally. But humans had learned long ago that unconventional tactics could defeat superior numbers. The Stalwart accelerated straight toward the heart of the alien fleet. To the council ships, it looked like suicide. But the Prometheus Protocol had calculated every possible response. every likely reaction. "They're breaking formation," Steve reported with a grin. "They can't maintain their pattern without risking friendly fire." The moment the alien ships moved to avoid collision, they created gaps in their defense. The stalwart exploited each one, its weapons striking with impossible accuracy. Their ships are equipped with basic combat computers, the Prometheus Protocol observed. They cannot adapt to unexpected situations quickly enough. One by one, the Council ships fell into disarray. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos as they tried to deal with a threat that didn't follow their rules of warfare. "This is impossible," Vex Thor shouted over the command channel. "What kind of demons are you?" "We're human," Lisa answered simply, "and you're learning why that's important." The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. When it was over, 5 Council ships had been destroyed. 12 were disabled, and the rest were retreating in disorder. The stalwart had suffered only minor damage to its outer armor. Back in the Council fleet's command ship, Vex Thor stared at his tactical display in disbelief. "How can one ship do this? What are they?" Lisa's voice came through clear and firm. "We are humanity's first line of defense. The stalwart is just a prototype, Commander. Even now, we're building more ships like this one. Each will carry the Prometheus Protocol, and each will be crewed by humans who understand what your perfect formations never will. True combat isn't about patterns and power. It's about adaptation and innovation." As the defeated Council fleet limped away, Engineer Paul Roberts looked up from his station. "Commander, I've been analyzing their weapons. They're powerful, but they're decades behind what we've developed. They relied on their technological advantage over other species for so long, they stopped innovating." "That's the difference," Lisa said, watching the retreating ships. "Humanity never stops pushing forward. We're not perfect, but we're always learning, always adapting." The Prometheus Protocol added its own observation. "The Council species appear to fear what they cannot predict or control. Humanity's greatest strength may be its very unpredictability." Lisa nodded. "Send a full report to Earth Defense Command. They need to know what we're up against, and more importantly, what we can do about it." As she looked out at the stars, Lisa knew the real war hadn't even started yet. The Council would return with an even larger force, but they still wouldn't understand. They thought technology alone won wars. But humanity had learned long ago that victory belonged to those who could think differently, act unpredictably, and never stop adapting. The Prometheus Protocol was more than just a weapon. It was proof that humanity's path was different from the Council's. While they sought perfection through control, humans embraced chaos and turned it into an advantage. "Plot a course back to Earth," Lisa ordered. "We need to prepare for what comes next. The Council just learned they can't bully us into submission. Now they'll try to wipe us out completely." The stalwart turned toward home, its systems already analyzing the battle data, learning, adapting, growing stronger, just like humanity always had. 1 week after the stalwart's second victory, the Galactic Council made their decision. In a unanimous vote, they declared humanity a grave threat to galactic peace. Their response was swift and brutal, a full-scale invasion of human space. Captain Peter Morrison stood on the bridge of the Earth Defense Command Center, watching as hundreds of red dots appeared on the main display. Each dot represented a Council warship entering the solar system. "They're not holding anything back this time," said his second-in-command, Kate Bell. She pointed to the tactical display. "Sensors count over 500 ships, including their newest dreadnoughts." Peter's face remained calm, but his hands tightened behind his back. "How many of our ships have the Prometheus Protocol installed?" 15 vessels are combat-ready, Kate replied. "Another 20 will be online within 48 hours. It'll have to be enough." Peter turned to face the room full of officers. "Send word to all ships. Operation Lightning Shield begins now." Across the solar system, human warships powered up their systems. Each one carried a version of the Prometheus Protocol, now improved with data from the stalwart's battles. The AI systems awakened, ready to defend their home. The Council's main fleet approached Mars orbit when they met their first surprise. Hidden in the asteroid belt, 3 human ships waited in ambush. Their captains had studied the stalwarts' tactics, learning how to use the Prometheus protocol to its full potential. The HFY are leading their attack, Kate reported, referring to the Council's primary warrior species. They've earned their reputation. Their ships are faster and more aggressive than anything we've seen before. The HFY ships move like predators, their sleek vessels designed purely for war. Their commander, a fierce warrior named Chronicle, broadcast his message across all channels. Humans, your defiance ends today. The HFY have never lost a war, and we will not start now. The response came from Commander Lisa Hayes, who had joined the defense fleet. You've never fought humans before. That's about to matter a lot. The battle began in the asteroid belt. The Council expected the human ships to hide behind the rocks for cover. Instead, they watched in shock as human vessels used the asteroids as weapons, their Prometheus protocols calculating perfect trajectories to launch the space rocks at enemy ships. Impossible, Chronicle roared as his ships dodged incoming asteroids. They're using the whole battlefield as a weapon. Peter smiled as he watched the tactical display. The Council ships were breaking formation, trying to avoid both weapons fire and artificially accelerated asteroids. That's the thing about humans, he said to no one in particular. We don't just use our weapons. We use everything. The battle spread across the solar system. Near Saturn, the rings became a deadly maze where human ships proved far more agile than their pursuers. The Prometheus protocols calculated paths through the debris that Council ships couldn't follow. They're splitting their forces, Kate announced, trying to surround Earth from multiple directions. Just as we planned, Peter replied. Signal all ships. Begin Phase 2. The human fleet scattered, seemingly in retreat. The Council forces pressed their advantage, pursuing what they thought were fleeing ships. They didn't realize they were being led into a trap. Enemy fleet approaching Jupiter, reported Lieutenant Dan Cooper from his station. Gravity trap is ready. Peter nodded. Spring the trap. Hidden stations around Jupiter's largest moons activated, creating artificial gravity wells that caught the Council ships off guard. Their perfect formations shattered as ships were pulled in unexpected directions. The Prometheus protocols are coordinating their gravity pulses, Kate said with admiration. They're literally using Jupiter's moons as giant slingshots for our ships. Human vessels shot past their confused enemies, using the artificial gravity fields to accelerate to speeds that should have been impossible. Each pass brought devastating attacks that the Council ships couldn't predict or avoid. In the chaos, the HFY commander tried to rally his forces. Maintain formation. They are just tricks. We are the greatest warriors in the galaxy. No, Lisa's voice came back. You're just the most predictable. Humanity learned long ago that being the strongest doesn't matter if you can't hit your target. The battle for Saturn's rings became legendary in that moment. Human ships danced through the debris field, using the ice and rock as cover, weapons, and tools. The Prometheus protocols calculated billions of possible paths, choosing the ones that would confuse and terrify their enemies the most. Their combat doctrine is falling apart, Kate reported. The HFY are starting to fight individually, abandoning their group tactics. Peter watched as the mighty Council fleet began to crumble. They trained to fight as a perfect unit, but when that unit breaks, they don't know what to do. Humans train for chaos. We expect things to go wrong. The Council's losses mounted quickly. Their superior numbers meant nothing against enemies they couldn't predict or understand. Human ships seemed to appear from nowhere, strike with devastating accuracy, and vanish again into the solar system's natural cover. Detecting power surges in multiple enemy vessels, Dan reported. I think they're starting to retreat. The HFY commander's final transmission was filled with disbelief. This is not possible. We are the greatest warriors in known space. How can you defeat us like this? Lisa's response was calm and clear. Because you fight to prove you're the greatest. We fight to survive. That makes all the difference. The retreat turned into a rout. Council ships fled in all directions, their once mighty fleet reduced to scattered groups of terrified survivors. Of the 500 ships that entered the solar system, barely 300 escaped. In the Defense Command Center, Peter finally allowed himself to relax slightly. Casualty report. We lost 5 ships, Kate replied, her voice mixed with both sadness and pride. But we destroyed or disabled over 150 enemy vessels. The Prometheus protocols proved their worth today. Peter nodded solemnly. Send word to all ships. Well done, everyone. But this isn't over. The Council will be back, and next time they'll be desperate. Desperate enemies are the most dangerous kind. As the human fleet regrouped, engineers and scientists were already studying the battle data. The Prometheus protocols had learned more about Council tactics and technology. Each encounter made them stronger, more adaptive. The Council thought they could overwhelm us with numbers. Lisa's voice came over the command channel. They still don't understand. Humanity doesn't win because we're stronger or more numerous. We win because we never stop learning, never stop adapting. Peter looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the Council was learning a hard lesson. They had just discovered that humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. All ships, begin recovery operations, he ordered. And stay alert. This was just the beginning. The real war is still to come. Dr. Susan Martinez sat in her dimly lit lab at the Earth Defense Research Center, studying the data captured from destroyed Council ships. As the lead AI researcher for the Prometheus protocol, she had made a stunning discovery. They tried to create their own combat AI, she explained to the gathered military leaders, but they failed every time. And now I know why. Admiral Mary Thompson raised an eyebrow. Tell us what you found, Doctor. Susan pulled up a holographic display showing alien code sequences. The Council species think too logically. They built their AIs to be perfect, to follow strict rules. But that's not how consciousness works. The human mind thrives on inconsistency, on creativity. That's why the Prometheus protocol works so well, she continued. It doesn't try to be perfect. It learns from human unpredictability and turns it into an advantage. Meanwhile, in deep space, Lieutenant John Phillips prepared for humanity's first major offensive operation. His ship, the USN Shadow, carried an advanced version of the Prometheus protocol. Their mission: strike at the heart of Council space. All systems ready, reported his weapons officer, Linda Martinez. The Prometheus protocol has analyzed all known Council defense patterns. John nodded, looking at his small but elite crew. Remember, we're not here to win a battle. We're here to show them they're not safe even in their own territory. The Shadow moved silently through Council space, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible. The Prometheus protocol had learned to mimic normal space radiation, making the ship look like nothing more than background noise to alien sensors. At the same time, in the Council's main chamber, the alien leaders argued about the human threat. They must be destroyed immediately, shouted High Counselor Zixtal, his multiple eyes flashing with anger. Every day they grow stronger. Ambassador Keelthen, one of the more moderate council members, disagreed. We should try to understand them. Their technology, their methods, they're unlike anything we've seen. That's exactly why they're so dangerous, Zixtal argued. Their ships move in ways that defy our combat doctrine. Their Prometheus protocol learns and adapts faster than any AI we've ever encountered. Their argument was interrupted by emergency alarms. On the main display, they watched in horror as a single human ship appeared in their home system, attacking their defense platforms with impossible precision. How did they get past our sensor net? Someone shouted. The Shadow danced between Council defensive fire, its movements guided by both human intuition and machine precision. Each shot it fired struck with devastating accuracy, disabling rather than destroying its targets. Message prepared, Linda announced on the Shadows Bridge. John smiled. Send it to all Council frequencies. His voice echoed through every Council communication device. This is Lieutenant John Phillips of the United States Navy. Consider this a demonstration. You thought humanity was trapped in our own system. You were wrong. We can reach you anywhere. The Council chamber erupted in panic. The Shadow was targeting their command and control systems, communications arrays, and sensor platforms. But it wasn't destroying them. It was disabling them with surgical precision. The human ship's targeting is perfect, reported a Council military advisor. They're not just shooting at us. They're sending a message with every shot. Ambassador Keelthin watched the display with a mixture of fear and admiration. They're showing us they could destroy these targets if they wanted to. This isn't just an attack, it's a warning. The Shadow continued its precise strikes for exactly 17 minutes. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished, leaving behind a carefully calculated pattern of disabled but repairable Council facilities. In the aftermath, Susan Martinez made another discovery from analyzed Council communications. She presented her findings to Earth's leadership. The Council species are actually terrified of us, she explained. Not just because of our technology, but because they don't understand how we think. Their entire civilization is built on order and predictability. We represent chaos to them. Admiral Thompson considered this. Can we use that fear? We already are, Susan replied. Every time the Prometheus Protocol does something they think is impossible, it increases their fear. They're starting to believe we're something beyond their understanding. Back on the Shadow, John's crew celebrated their successful mission. The Prometheus Protocol had performed beyond expectations, learning and adapting to Council defenses in real time. They'll be running scans for weeks trying to figure out how we got through their defenses, Linda said with a grin. John nodded. That's the point. Let them scan. Let them study. They won't find anything they can understand because they're looking for the wrong things. They want to find a pattern, a system they can counter. But there is no pattern, the Prometheus Protocol added, its voice carrying a hint of what almost sounded like pride. Human unpredictability combined with our processing power creates something they can't predict or understand. In the Council chamber, the debate had reached a critical point. Several species were now arguing for peace negotiations with humanity. Others, led by Zixtal, pushed for more extreme measures. If we cannot defeat them conventionally, we must use the forbidden weapons, Zixtal argued. The humans cannot be allowed to continue their advancement. Ambassador Keelthin stood against this. The forbidden weapons would break every law we have held sacred for millennia. And worse, if they didn't work, we would have shown humanity our desperation. We would lose any hope of peace. As the Council argued, Susan Martinez made one final discovery in her lab. Looking at the latest battle data, she realized something that changed everything. The Prometheus Protocol isn't just learning about their technology, she told Admiral Thompson. It's learning about their psychology. Every encounter teaches it more about how they think, how they react to fear and uncertainty. The Admiral understood immediately. So we're not just winning the physical battles. We're winning the psychological war, Susan finished. The Council species have never encountered anything they couldn't categorize and control. Humanity, with our combination of chaos and order, creativity and precision, terrifies them on a fundamental level. As Part 4 drew to a close, the stage was set for the final confrontation. The Council was fracturing, torn between fear and fascination with humanity. The Shadow's raid had proven humans could strike anywhere, at any time. And the Prometheus Protocol continued to evolve, becoming something that even its creators hadn't fully anticipated. The final battle was coming, but it wouldn't be fought with weapons alone. It would be a battle between two fundamentally different ways of thinking, of existing. And humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their ships. It was their ability to embrace the chaos that so terrified their enemies. The final battle began where everything started, near Saturn's rings. Commander Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge of the USN Stalwart, now joined by 20 other human ships, each carrying their own version of the Prometheus Protocol. They faced the largest Council fleet ever assembled, over 1,000 warships. "They're desperate," Lisa said, watching the enemy fleet approach. "They've committed everything they have to this battle." The Prometheus Protocol's voice filled the bridge. Analysis complete. The Council fleet includes ships from all 7 major species. This is unprecedented in their history. High Counselor Zixtal's image appeared on the main screen. His multiple eyes showed a mixture of fear and determination. "This ends today, humans. You have forced us to unite all our forces. You cannot stand against our combined might." Lisa looked at her crew, seeing determination in their faces. "You still don't understand, Counselor. Bringing more ships just means you're making the same mistakes on a larger scale." The human fleet seemed tiny compared to the massive Council armada. But size hadn't mattered in any of their previous battles, and it wouldn't matter now. "All ships, activate your Prometheus protocols," Lisa ordered. "Let's show them what humanity can really do." The battle began with the Council fleet launching a massive attack. Thousands of energy weapons lit up space, creating a wall of destruction that no conventional fleet could survive. But the human ships weren't conventional. Working together, their Prometheus protocols created patterns of movement that seemed impossible. The smaller human fleet flowed through the gaps in the Council's attack like water through rocks. "Impossible," Zixtal shouted. "No one can dodge that much firepower." "You're still thinking in straight lines," Lisa replied. "Prometheus, show them how humans think about space combat." The human fleet split into smaller groups, each one attacking from a different angle. The Prometheus protocols shared data in real time, coordinating their movements with both machine precision and human creativity. "They're everywhere at once," a Council commander shouted. "How can they coordinate such complex movements?" In the Council fleet, confusion turned to chaos. Their perfect formations, designed over thousands of years of warfare, meant nothing against an enemy that didn't follow any rules they understood. Ambassador Keelthan, watching from a safe distance, finally understood. "They're not just fighting us," he said quietly. "They're rewriting everything we know about warfare." The battle spread across Saturn's ring system. Human ships used the ice and rocks as cover, weapons, and distractions. The Prometheus protocols calculated millions of possible moves every second, choosing the ones that would cause the most confusion. "Their ships are learning from each other," a Council scientist reported in horror. "Each attack makes them more effective. They're evolving during the battle." Lisa coordinated the human fleet's movements, trusting the Prometheus protocol to handle the complex calculations. Humanity has always adapted to survive. She broadcast to all ships, "Today, we're showing you why that matters." The Council's massive fleet began to break apart. Their carefully planned strategies fell apart as human ships struck from impossible angles, disappeared into the rings, and reappeared where they least expected. "Multiple Council ships are powering down their weapons," reported Steve Miller from his sensor station. They're surrendering." Zixtal's voice was filled with rage. "No, we cannot surrender to these. These Chaos Bringers. Launch the forbidden weapons." A new type of missile launched from several Council ships. They were planet killers, weapons banned by galactic law for millennia. But the Prometheus protocols had already analyzed the energy signatures. "Forbidden weapons detected," the AI announced calmly. "Countermeasures ready." The human fleet moved with perfect coordination. Their combined firepower created a net of defensive fire that destroyed every forbidden weapon before they could arm themselves. "You see," Lisa said to the Council fleet, "we knew you'd resort to this. The Prometheus protocols predicted it. We were ready." In that moment, something broke in the Council's united front. Several fleet commanders ordered their ships to stand down. Others turned their weapons on Zixtal's command ship. Ambassador Keelthan seized his chance. "This is Ambassador Keelthan to all Council ships. The use of forbidden weapons proves the High Counselor has lost his way. Stand down. The humans have proven themselves not just our equals, but in many ways our superiors. The battle ended not with a final explosion, but with a wave of surrenders. Council ships powered down their weapons one by one. Zixtal's command ship, surrounded by his own fleet, had no choice but to yield. Lisa broadcast one final message. To all Council ships, we didn't want this war. We don't want to rule or control you. All we want is the right to exist as we are, to develop in our own way. In the aftermath, Ambassador Keelthan came aboard the Stalwart to discuss peace terms. He looked around the bridge with new respect. We thought we were the pinnacle of civilization, he said, but you showed us how much we still have to learn. The Prometheus Protocol. It's not just a weapon, is it? Lisa shook her head. It's a symbol of what makes humanity different. We don't seek perfection. We embrace chaos, learn from it, and turn it into strength. The peace treaty that followed changed the galaxy forever. Several Council species chose to ally with humanity, eager to learn their ways. Others withdrew into their own space, fearful of what humanity might become. 1 year later, Lisa stood in front of a class of alien students at the New Earth Defense Academy. Young beings from various Council species had come to learn humanity's ways of thinking. The Prometheus Protocol wasn't what won the war, she told them. It was just a tool that showed the galaxy something important. There's no single right way to think, to fight, or to live. The universe is chaos, and those who learn to embrace that chaos, to dance with it rather than fight it, will always have an advantage. A young alien raised its hand. But how do you control chaos? Lisa smiled. You don't. That's the lesson humanity learned long ago. You don't control chaos. You adapt to it. You learn from it. And sometimes, you let it teach you things you never knew were possible. As she looked at the eager faces of her alien students, Lisa knew the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had done more than win a war. They had introduced a new way of thinking to a civilization that had grown too rigid, too certain of its own perfection. The Prometheus Protocol continued to evolve, learning from both humans and aliens. But its greatest achievement wasn't military victory. It was showing the galaxy that perfection wasn't the goal. Innovation, adaptation, and the willingness to embrace the unknown were what truly mattered. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, countless new ships carried this lesson forward, each one a testament to humanity's unique gift, the ability to find strength in chaos, to learn from the impossible, and to never stop growing, changing, and evolving.